Hey, what's going on, y'all? Back with the Heat for the Streets, man. It's AK Showtime. Look, man, I'm basically doing a quick video, whatever. I know I ain't been posting in a minute, but basically doing a quick video and want to talk real quick about some comments that Trace McGrady made about James Harden the other day. So as y'all know, James Harden got knocked out the playoffs last week. And in that game 6 loss, a lot of people thought they should have won that game 5. They should have won that game 5 in San Antonio when Kawhi went down, but Harden didn't come up. Harden didn't come up clutch when it mattered. You know what I'm saying? And his teammates ain't really do nothing for him either. Like, just the total effort was gone, even after Kawhi went down. And that deflated San Antonio. As y'all seen with their loss last night to the Warriors. But basically, T-Mac was saying he needed to apologize to the city of Houston and the fans of the Houston Rockets for that performance that he had in Game 6. You know, basically when he stuck up the joint and he had, I think he had only like 10 points on like 2 for 10 shooting. He only had 2 points in the second quarter alone, and that was off of 2 free throws. So I get where T-Mac is coming from, but at the same time, it's coming from a dude that Hall of Fame on that, first ballot Hall of Fame on that, which in my opinion, he probably shouldn't have been since that nigga ain't win no rings. I can name about 3 other dudes I put ahead of him in that era when he was playing, including Vince Carter. He was the second-rate player to Vince Carter when he was in Toronto. The years that Vince spent in New Jersey, he was lighting shit up. When Vince got to Orlando, he was lighting it up. Hell, even with Dallas, when he was coming, or was he starting or was he coming off the bench for Dallas? I don't know. I forgot. I think he was starting, but either way, he was lighting it up. By that time, T-Mac was an afterthought. That nigga had already retired. Vince Carter's still playing. Vince Carter's still playing at 40 years old, bro. You know what I'm saying? And the only reason I bring that up is because it's coming from a dude that ain't never got out of the second round of the playoffs, bro. He's never been to a Western Conference Final. In 2013, don't count, when he was with the Spurs and he got to that final, because Popovich did his ass a favor when he got his bum ass off the fucking couch, bad knees and all, and said, yo, you want to roster spot? Because remember, they cut Steven Jackson, who had won a title for San Antonio back in 2003, coming off the bench for that team. That championship team or whatever. He was a young player, and you know at that time T-Mac was a star in Orlando. But it's coming from a dude. He's saying you need to apologize to the city of Houston. Nigga, you don't apologize to the city of Houston, cause, and I know y'all was injury prone too, and that kind of hindered them a little bit. But nigga, you gotta apologize to the city of Toronto for abandoning them because your bitch ass was so preoccupied with being a star and not being, you know, not playing second fiddle and doing something great in Toronto that you got your ass traded from Toronto, where you would have had more help, where you would have a squad in Toronto with Vince Carter. Y'all could have been a two-man punch. Okay, so then you go to Orlando, right? And I'm just giving y'all a landscape of Vince Carter's career. And it all boils down to one thing: the nigga was a loser. You go to Toronto. You don't do shit there. You cry about being second fiddle to Vince Carter. Oh, I play second fiddle to nobody. Okay, nigga. So you go to Orlando. You want to be the man in Orlando, right? Cool. You the man in Orlando. You and Grant Hill, actually, you know what I'm saying? Being a two-man tandem, which you could have been with Vince. But that's beside the point. You know what I'm saying? Grant Hill, to me, if Grant Hill stay healthy, Grant Hill is the all-star player on that team. And I know Tracy was younger than Grant at the time, and he hadn't really experienced the injuries yet until he got to Houston. But let's go back to the retrospect of his career in Orlando, right? That motherfucker made the playoffs. He got to Orlando in what, 2001? Because he got traded to Houston in 2004, 2005 for Steve Francis. That motherfucker went to the playoffs with Orlando. I think every year that he was there. And that nigga didn't get out of the first round one time. And the one time that he actually thought he was gonna get out of the first round, and go look this shit up on YouTube, cause it's a clip of Chauncey Billups and Tracy McGrady, and it was back like in April. They was filming some shit on ESPN for one of these little B-level shows they do like in the afternoon and shit for the NBA. They host a joint with like Rachel Nichols, and they be having like different NBA players on that joint with them. And Jalen Rose was on there too. And they was talking about the Palace at Auburn Hills, because at the time, you know, Detroit wasn't making the playoffs and shit. So, and the Palace at Auburn Hills is closing its doors. The Detroit Pistons gonna be playing in a new arena next year. So they was talking about their favorite memories in the Palace, and of course, Jalen was talking about how, you know what I'm saying, he played at Michigan, and he loved playing at Michigan or whatever. He got to play for his hometown team. You know what I'm saying? He got to play there when he was a pro and everything. And Chauncey was talking about, you know, all his championship memories, obviously. And then T-Mac got on him. He was like, "Oh, so what is your worst memory of being in Detroit? Wasn't it losing to the Spurs in the finals or whatever?" Ooh, and then he brought up like when LeBron torched their ass in the playoffs and shit, and he scored like 25 straight points. And like the final 5 minutes of that game 6 when that year LeBron went to the finals in 07. And so Chauncey flipped that shit back on him. He basically was like, "Okay, so what is your favorite memory of being the Palace at Auburn Hills? Wasn't there after that game 5 when you had that press conference after you beat us and shit, and you scored like 45 points?" And he was at the press conference basically talking about how, and one of the reporters asked him, "How do you feel after this win?" Because they was up 3-1. The Orlando Magic was up 3-1, and I forgot who the coach was at the time. It might have been Doc Rivers. Because I remember them talking about that after he lost that series, and people thought that Clippers collapse was bad. But that Orlando series, man, Orlando had a squad. And T-Mac and Grant Hill, even though Grant was hurt before that playoff run, T-Mac was the man. He was supposed to show up, right? So that nigga up 3-1, and one of the reporters asked him, "How does it feel after this win?" He said, "Look, man, it just feels to get out of the first round. You know, finally getting that monkey off my back. Woo." And so y'all know what the fuck happened. Detroit proceeded to beat that ass. I think It was like 2002, 2003 in the playoffs, and he got beat. He got beat, and I think after that, Rivers was fired, and he went to Boston. And Tracy stayed, like I said, he stayed another year, and then he got traded to Houston mid-season in 04. And his time in Houston was mired in mediocrity. He won some scoring titles. You know what I'm saying? He did his thing, but he kept running to LA. He kept running into LA. He kept running into San Antonio. I think one year, I might be wrong, but I think he ran into Phoenix and they beat him and shit. We ran to Dallas and they beat him. Or Portland, or one of them teams. I think it was Dallas in 2004 playoffs. And like I said, man, it's come from a dude that ain't never been out of the second round, bro. So he never been to a conference finals that he's actually played in. That's never been to an NBA finals that he's actually played in. Like I said, 2013 on count, he was riding the bench for the Spurs, and they still lost that championship. They shouldn't have, but they lost that championship. And he lost his only shot to ever get a ring. You know what I'm saying? And Harden don't even think 30 yet. So he got plenty of time to exercise his demons. I don't see Golden State and Cleveland controlling the NBA forever. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be right there in the conversation. But eventually somebody, you know what I'm saying, eventually somebody in the East gonna have to step up. And you know what I'm saying? Take over LeBron's role as the dominant, you know, figure in the NBA or at least the East. You know what I'm saying? Another team gonna have to step up, maybe the Wizards or the Celtics or whatever. But yeah, man. And in the West, like I said, I still see Golden State doing their thing, but Houston gonna be doing their thing. So yeah, man, CT Mac, you know what I'm saying, being one of those dudes, and he did that with Golden State. He did that with the whole entire Golden State roster last year when they lost that final. He did that to KD this summer when he went to Golden State. You know what I'm saying? Not mentioning the fact that he was trying to become a Laker for a stretch of about 2 or 3 years. He wanted to be a Laker. He wanted to play with Kobe and shit. But he'll never tell you that. He'll never tell you that. You know what I'm saying? I give a man credit for being a beast, and when I said that shit last night, when I wrote on Facebook, basically like, cause I wrote on the Facebook page for Total Pro Sports, and they had the headline in the video in the article or whatever, and they showed his comments, and I'm like, yo, coming from a dude that never been out of the second round, never been to a conference final, never been to NBA finals that he actually played in, never won a ring, and then when he tried to get a ring, you know what I'm saying, popping them boys let him down. They choked, and he fell short of getting his one title, because that probably have been, even if it would have been the cheap title, he still would have went down in history as a champ. You know what I'm saying? Because he got Hall of Fame numbers, obviously. He was the first ballot Hall of Fame, but probably shouldn't have been, but hell, he Hall of Famer now. It's nothing that, you know what I'm saying, I could say or I could do to change that, but the fact that he just dogged James Harden all like that, you know what I'm saying, excluding his many failures in the playoffs and not really exercising his demons, is just fucked up. So yeah, man, that's pretty much all I gotta say on that situation, man. It's fucked up that he been you know what I'm saying, a grumpy old man.
Wait.
And shit like that. I know he got love for Houston. I know He had his best moments as a Houston Rocket, but nigga, you came up short too. So just remember that the next time you make a statement about a motherfucker coming up short in the playoffs. Alright, T-Mac? Alright, nigga.